Hello, drummers, and how's it going? It's Mike Michalkow here, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about developing the single stroke roll and how to get it faster and cleaner and smoother. I want to share with you some tips and some secrets and some tricks and things like that so that we can actually make this thing work in an everyday fashion for you for fast 16th note rock beats, two-handed beats, fills, drum solos, end of song freakouts, whatever it may be. So this is a rudiment that has always kind of been a challenge to me because it's one of those ones that's really easy to make a mistake with. And if your stick heights aren't even, if your grip is not the same, it's going to fall apart on you pretty quick. So the first rule of thumb for some of you folks that have been practicing this single stroke roll before is your stick heights have to remain even. Same height, okay? Now, as soon as you go to a different height, two things can happen. You start changing the accent, or if you're not careful, you can start flamming, okay? So, and I always say that a single stroke roll with two different stick heights coming straight down turns into a flam, and it does, left, right, or right, left, okay? So you gotta be careful with that. So the first thing to watch is your stick heights, okay? Very important. Whether you're playing very soft, or medium volume or full, you have to sort of keep those stick heights very, very consistent. So maybe practice in front of a mirror or videotape yourself or something like that to see how they're looking. But before we do that, I want to get you guys doing an exercise here with me that I was shown many years ago, and I still use every day, and I demonstrate this in my clinics, and I will show it to you today. Let's take our hands, put them out like no drumsticks in our hands, put them out like this. It's almost like somebody's pushing down on your fingers. You're really stretching the fingers to try to get blood flow happening in the hands. Okay, so let's do that. Now what I want you guys to do is join your index finger to your thumb. If you can make it straight, great. If it's bent, no big deal. Either way, make sure they're touching. Stretch the fingers out again, almost like someone's pushing down on them for you. Really stretch them. Now what we're going to do is we're going to kind of do this sort of Spider-Man kind of a thing. Get your hands all the way out, all the way in. Don't be worried if you can't make the same sound that I'm getting. My fingers are pretty strong at this point, so I'm able to get that audible sound there. So all the way out, all the way in. See if you can follow me. Keep going. Let's go for, let's try to do this for a minute, okay? Now some of you people might be feeling some burn. I don't want to use the word pain. Let's call it burn. Okay, the burn maybe in your knuckles or in the bottom part of your fingers where your fingers attached to your hand. You might start to feel it in the wrists a little bit. The focus and the goal is to feel it in your forearms, okay? Once you feel it in your forearms, that's where you're really stretching all those tendons and all those muscles that we use to develop finger control and any kind of fast drumming, okay? So this could take a while to develop to be able to play it for as long as I'm doing it. You might be able to go 30 seconds. You might be able to go 10 seconds. When I first started doing this, I could barely do 10 seconds. So hopefully you guys are trying this. The goal is to be able to keep doing it without stopping, okay? And you're not going to feel anything at that point because, you're going to have all those muscles and all those tendons stretched. So every day, try to push it a little more, a little more. If you can do 10 seconds today, try to do 11 seconds tomorrow and 12 and 13 and so on and so on. Before you know it, everything gets stretched and away you go. So it's just an exercise for developing really strong fingers and hand control and hand muscles, okay? So the next thing we've got to focus on, like I said, is stick heights, okay? So we've got our fingers are all exercised. We've got stick heights. The next problem that I see with a lot of drummers, even top professionals, is they are not holding the sticks properly. So I'm sure there's lots of videos on YouTube here where I teach you how to hold the sticks, or you can go watch several of the world's top drummers teaching you how to do that stuff. And the thing that I see a lot is either, their hands are not completely matched up. Even if they're match grip players, I might see, one hand where I don't see any stick coming out of the back of the hand, and I might see a little bit here. That's a problem because we don't have that wonderful balance point with one hand, okay? The balance point being the spot of the drumstick where it's going to naturally rebound the best for you, okay? Every drumstick has one. It doesn't tell us where they are in most cases, but if you can get the drumstick dribbling like that, perfect. If I'm holding the stick too far back, it just won't work. Too far forward, the stick wants to keep falling towards me. So that's one thing you got to watch for, is to make sure that Your balance point is very, very consistent. When you have that, your sticks should look exactly the same in both hands. Okay, so the next thing that I encounter with students and myself too when I was younger was that one hand was faster than the other. So we need to develop evenness in both hands. So the goal for all you guys and gals is hopefully you have a metronome, okay, is 110 beats per minute using 16th notes. Here's the goal. That's one hand. That's the goal. Now the reason that's the goal is because 110 times 2 is, yeah, you guessed it, 220. Imagine having a 220 beat per minute 16th note roll. Oh yeah. Which means that each hand is doing 110. Offset in the single stroke roll fashion, of course. Now I turn the metronome off. That's not a bad sounding roll. Songs that come to mind that you might be playing with a two-handed 16th note beat, Prison Song by System of a Down, Run to the Hills, even though it's a bit of a gallop on Run to the Hills. But, songs like that, I'm sure there's a lot more songs out there too. I know Swing Town by Steve Miller is a pretty quick two-handed 16th note beat. Several tunes out there. La Villa Strangiato by Rush. A lot of those kind of songs have that faster two-handed 16th. And, when you get those 16th notes even, those songs and those beats start sounding more even too. So that's a big one, guys. You gotta definitely check out some of that stuff and watch your stick heights and watch your evenness. Now, when I said 110 was the goal, keep in mind you can't start at 110. I have some students that say, "Hey, should I start at 110?" It's like, well, if you can, but then your goal should be 150. I would say maybe start at 60, 65, or 70, depending on your how you already play. So here's 70. Now that might not seem very fast to some of you, but that's moving. Most rock beats that fast. That's moving pretty good. Let's think of these in 16ths. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. When we go to the left hand, you're going to notice that, for some of you that haven't practiced your weak hand, that's going to feel kind of strange. But train that left hand. If you're a left-handed player, your right hand's going to be weaker. Train your right hand. Okay, go back and forth. Do each one for maybe a full bar. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and so on and so on. Then what you do is you bump up the metronome, I'd say by 5. Okay, so maybe go to 75. Okay, you work on that for a while with the right hand, and then you switch hands over to left. Okay, and you keep on doing this for a while. Then you might go up to maybe 80. Okay, now I remember 80 was sort of the magic number for me, but magic being in that I couldn't figure it out, okay? And because I could play 80 with my right hand, then when I went to left hand, it was like, all of a sudden my left hand couldn't play that. And yeah, some of you are laughing right now, but it's a true story. And the thing is, I never practiced just doing singles with my left hand before. So what did that tell me? That told me that if I'm playing 80 and I'm only playing 75 here, my roll is never going to be even. Okay, so then what I thought I should do is maybe just start practicing the left hand, because I also realized that I could go 85 with my right hand. I think at the time when I was starting to do these exercises, I could go up to 95. So 95, my left hand couldn't touch that, right, at the time. So I thought, well, okay, forget you, right stick. He was gone, okay? And I'd have the remote control for my TV in the other hand, and I'd be flipping through channels. All right, there we go. Phone, hey, what's up? Ah, just practicing. Yeah, I know, yeah. Yeah, I'm a drum nerd. I know. I get it. Yeah. Someday you're gonna read about me. I'll tell you. But it was stuff like that where I just thought to myself, I have to train this left hand, okay, to get stronger and stronger. So when the left hand finally was able to do this, I was like, there we go. Okay, and that took a while. I would do a lot of, like I said, left-hand practice, or I would play a lot of open-handed drum beats. I'd go to the drum set and maybe play a 16th note beat. Because I didn't want to have a weak hand anymore. I thought I can't have a weak hand because both my drumsticks are matched. They're both the same. There isn't a right and there isn't a left. You switch them and it doesn't matter. Should both work. But it was the hands that I needed to train. So that was a big one, guys. So make sure that you're pushing yourself to get to that 110. So for me, when I got to that 110, I mean, this is, oh boy, probably mid-90s, and I got to 110, and I was pretty excited. So then I pushed it to 115. 120. Started to get it harder. It became a bit of an athletic event at that point. And my goal still to this day, and I'm hoping for Christmas. My goal is Christmas. This is mid-October right now, 2012, and by Christmas I want to be doing 150 per hand. And this is tough. There's lots of drummers out there who can do this, but I want to be one of them. One hand. That's so fast. So to me, it's not quite there yet. You might be looking at it going, wow, it's great. But it starts to fall apart, okay, after 10 seconds. Same thing is going to happen with you guys that are practicing stuff at 70 and 80 and 90, but it will come, okay? And what I've been doing is I've been going to 140, okay? So you think it almost sounds as fast as 150, but I've been doing 4 per hand. 2, 3, 4. Then I try to do 8 per hand. When I say try, I'm trying. Okay. So this is the same thing I did when I started at 80 and 90 and all those guys, is I'm doing the same exact technique. I'm just going faster. But it's getting harder because of the speed, right? But I'm looking at it going, okay, if 140 times 2 is 280, I can almost do a single stroke roll at 280 beats a minute using 16th notes, which is lovely and fast. But I can still feel some hiccups and some burps and stuff in there, which is common. That happens. Once my hands are evenly playing 140, I will probably start bumping it up 141, 142, 143. So for any of you guys that are watching this video, guys or girls that are watching this video that already have great hands, push it up by 1, go 140, 141, 142. That's what I'm doing. So the goal is 150. I haven't practiced this stuff in a while because I've been pretty busy with life, but I'm coming back to this now to the practice room going, I got to set that goal and that short-term goal of playing 150 per hand. And it's just a personal thing. It's not like I'm trying to enter some world's fastest drummer competition or anything like that. That's not my goal. I just want to have very comfortable, fast hands. It's just something that I want. So hopefully this helps you folks out with some of the insight on how to develop your single stroke roll. I'd love to see some progress. If you guys want, you can send me a video on my YouTube channel here, and I'd love to see how your hands are looking and how your speed is coming, and I'd be happy to offer any advice to any of you free of charge. And so anyways, all the best to you guys. Thanks so much, subscribers, and anybody who's watching these videos. I really appreciate all you've done. Take care.